Hey guys, Recommend here and welcome back to Bleach chapter 656? 656, yeah. I'm so unsure of whatever the chapter I'm reviewing is. So, the chapter starts off with Gerald. Should probably make sure I remember these names. Just kind of like walking out after you just curve stomped 7 guys in a chapter. He just kind of starts like swinging his arms around, just crashing stuff. And then we cut to Askin. Just kind of sitting there being all like, oh hey, it looks like Gerald transformed. That's pretty cool. I mean, he probably had to, considering the fact that Lily just got defeated, but at the same time, he probably didn't even notice the fact. And he said, maybe I should tell him about this shirt Stoffel. Which I didn't mention it last chapter, but he kind of said something about like he has to like release his shirt software script. I forgot which one he said, which basically is his power, I guess. And he says Lily was the leader of the shirt Stoffel. I guess it was the script. Lily was the first to be bestowed a script by His Majesty, so his position was unwavering and ironclad. But Ferdinand and Gerald also had their powers before they joined like the Quincy's and got granted by Yuha, so they soon also got one. And it's a rumor that it was rumored among the Stern Raiders and all the Quincy that Ferdinand was the left hand, which I guess I was wrong. I guess it was the left hand, not the right hand. I just thought I was right about that. So, he's the left hand of the Salt King, and Gerald was the heart. And he was like, I don't really know how those rumors got started, but at the same time, with their huge amounts of power, I guess it makes sense. Kind of like, is this making sense to you, Ichigo? And we just see like Ichigo just like face planted. It was like, it's probably hard for you to understand. And with your face planted on the floor like that. And that's when Chad, Urahime, and Ganju run up. And Ichigo's like weakly says to him like, stay back, and his eyes are just like all dead and everything. And then suddenly like, Chad just like punches the ground at Askin's feet, and everything like it all just kind of like turns like a darker color around them. Then when Askin kind of starts explaining his power as its gift bad, he can like that's impossible for me to remember this. Stepping into this pool isn't exactly... Oh, no. Hang on. But he can lower any resistance choose of any who step in the radius. Basically, he can lower people's resistance to certain things. And this time he chose Reishi, so you know how there are all these like fights between basically gods going on right now? Well, because they have a lower resistance to Reishi, it's basically just crushing them. So, I mean, it's pretty cool power. In other words, yeah, I just read that. Hang on. But in order to do the stuff that he's trying to do, he has to take in a great amount of whatever he's trying to manipulate. For example, if he wanted to do it with blood, he'd have to drink an obscene amount of blood. And he says, unfortunately, my stomach's about to explode from drinking too many lattes. So until his stomach settles, he'll just wait patiently. And that's when Yoruichi just kind of appears behind him, just like, oh, that's cool. So from what he's taking care of from the diarrhea from his mouth, which is basically getting shits about anyone who monologues in Bleach about their powers, which is everyone. Except for Ichigo, because he doesn't really have any powers. As long as she doesn't step there, she doesn't have to do it, and while they're there, he can just strangle them at his leisure. And he's kind of just like, I wish people wouldn't say stuff like that. And he says, well, Bambi said something quite similar a while back, and the reason I mentioned that like line is because when I was first reading, I was like, Bam, do you mean the deer? But no, it's like, it makes more sense later that he's talking about Bambietta. And so he just kind of like just kicks at her, and she just kind of like pounces out of the way. He says, I wish people would be like have more delicacy, and she's kind of like, delicacy's not really my thing. And she's kind of like, do you really think that your opponents are that much beneath you? He's just kind of like, no, elegance is how I like to defeat my opponent. Straight up like fist to fist, like blood going everywhere. That's not my style. It has to be nice and clean. She's basically kind of like wringing people's necks is more suited to women of the likes you and Bambi. But she's kind of just like, she has no idea who this Bambi person is, and that's just when like wings of electricity just like burst out of her back. But she's kind of like, well, the point you're trying to make is how the beautiful do things. And he was like, well, you and Bambi are both quite beautiful, but a woman's value isn't in her superficial qualities. And that's when he whips out his long, hard, well, not hard, but, you know, because it can't be hard, because, man, actually, his bow is like, it's in her style and presentation. And so not only is Askin probably my favorite Stern Ritter, he probably has my favorite bow. You know, we'll put a picture up of it. It's basically like a long thing, but it has 2 slots on it. So all he has to do is pull one string back and fire, and shoots 2 at a time. Which then again isn't much compared to Uri, who can shoot like some thousand amount. It was either in like the hundreds or the thousands in a second. So as they're both going at Yoruichi, she dodges one, catches one, and throws it back at him, but he like kind of like, it catches his arm. And you just kind of see like, oh, you seem like an interesting guy, but you know, we need to get out of here, so I'm just going to end this soon. You're just going to edit right now, which is something that a lot of people wish would happen in a lot of anime fights, because those things tend to drag on forever. But yeah, so she basically uses her ultimate form of Shuko Rajan Senkai, which, I mean, these are basically like the ultimate forms of Shunko, which, I mean, so Soy Foam got like butterfly wings and tornado fists, and Yoruichi got a thunderclap basically, because she kind of just does like this, and then suddenly like a giant thunderbolt from the heavens comes down and strikes them both. And that's the end of the chapter, which it's not going too well for Askin here. He's basically taken out every single person he's tried to fight in, I don't know, like 15 seconds, except for Grimjow, but that's just because he was running away trying to drink all his stuff. So, I mean, yeah. I wonder what power he's going to get. Then again, this is Yoruichi. I mean, it might not matter just because she's basically unbeatable except for Aizen. Well, I mean, at least in the series, I mean, she's beaten everyone else she's tried to fight ever. So, yeah. This is an entertaining chapter. Yoruichi's one of my favorite characters. Askin's definitely one of my favorite characters. That was just fun to read, and then she just lightning bolts him. Granted, I probably shouldn't be saying like, man, I just love it when some of my favorite characters get like lightning bolted, but at the same time, it was delivered quite well. And well, that's all for this review. See you guys next time.